Morning. Hey, we're going to start off with our 5 moods. So we had mood, there are 5 moods in Spanish. 1, the infinitive. So we have 1, the infinitive, and then 4, finite. The indicative, conditional, subjunctive, and imperative. So last video we went over our infinitive, and this video we're going to go over the 4 finite ones. So we'll look at those now. Remember that mood is that form or modification of the verb which marks the mode in which an action is viewed or stated. So now we're going to look at lesson 23, the moods. The indicative mood is that form of the verb that expresses the action in a positive manner as a fact. The conditional mood, this is your would, the modo condicional, affirms like the indicative mood in a positive manner, but subject to a condition, like I would do that if. The imperative mood is used to command or beg. Those are your commands, like do this. This mood has only one tense and one distinct form of person. The second, as in habla tú, speak, you speak. Hablad vosotros, speak you all, or y'all, that's what we say, right? The first person singular does not occur and the other persons are taken from the present subjunctive. In the third person, and that's your third place down on your chart, and sometimes even the first plural, that would be nosotros, the present subjunctive may take the place of the imperative used affirmatively. This becomes apparent by the use of K, which precedes the subjunctive. So you've got to have the word K in there, and then the next part in your dependent clause is your subjunctive, your verb in the subjunctive. I've got a little video in there about that, using an English phrase so you can see how it would translate into Spanish, which precedes the subjunctive, and when an object pronoun occurs in the sentence as escríbalo él or que lo escriba él, let him write it. There is no imperative negative in Spanish. So let's look here. Let's go on and move into the subjunctive mood. Now y'all have all heard about the subjunctive mood. It is this mood offers some difficulty. It's one of the most difficult moods. So I just feel like all of a sudden, most of Spanish is pretty hard. You're out in your boat, you're out in the sea trying to get water out of the boat, and then the subjunctive is like 3 or 4 pieces you've got to learn. So it takes a little bit of doing. The difficulty arises from the fact that in English, this mode of viewing the action of the verb is often rendered by the indicative mood or by the semi-auxiliary verbs may, might, should, or would. The Spanish rule on the subjunctive mood must therefore be applied. It must be therefore applied irrespective of the English construction. So we've got to change it up. So our general rules, the subjunctive mood can only be used in dependent clauses. So in a phrase, you'll have the main clause here at the beginning of your phrase, like John hopes to go, or John hopes, and so John hopes is your main clause. Then you have your word K, and then that you go with him to the prom is in the dependent clause, okay? And that you go would be in the subjunctive, okay? So that verb would be in the subjunctive. So the subjunctive mood can only be used in dependent clauses. Yo quiero que él venga. Venga is the subjunctive. Yo quiero que él vaya. Vaya is the subjunctive. I wish him to go. And then only when, by reason of what precedes the principal clause, the action of the subordinate verb is not expressed in a positive manner as a fact, but as merely contingent, like only conceived in the mind. That's what you've got to learn. It's only conceived in the mind. It's not a fact. So yo declare que él vino or vendría. I say that he came or that he would come. Yo espero que él venga. I hope that he may come. Yo esperaba que él viniese. I hope that he might or would come. So there's some special rules, and we'll go over these. A verb in a dependent clause, that's the second half, is placed generally in the subjunctive mood after verbs expressing an action, emotion of the mind, when the subjects of the principal or the subordinate verbs are different. You can also look at a acronym called WEIRDO, and it tells you which verbs are emotions will trigger the subjunctive, which things will trigger the subjunctive. So examples of principal verbs which govern the following verb in the subjunctive mood. We've got aconsejar, to advise, alegrarse de que, to be glad that, avergonzarse de que, to be ashamed at, conceder, to grant, conseguir, to obtain, desear, to desire, esperar, to hope, evitar, avoid, to avoid, impedir, to hinder, mandar, to order, querer, to wish, rogar, to ask or to beg, sentir, to regret, temer, to fear, and confiar en que is to trust. So if the second verb in the first, in the main clause and in the dependent clause, you use the infinitive mood, you don't use the subjunctive. For example, por ejemplo, deseo que venga, I wish him to come, is, venga is in the subjunctive. Deseo venir, I wish to come, I want to go, okay? Deseo venir. After verbs expressing joy, shame, sorrow, or fear, the indicative may be used instead of the subjunctive, so you need to watch out for those. And after mandar, to order, the subordinate verb is often in the infinitive instead of the subjunctive, as in, mándale usted que lo haga, order him to do it, and mándeselo usted hacer, order him to do it. Okay, thanks.